Hey guys, this is MDoranD, MDoranD for CardRunners.com. This is my next installment of my series playing 4 tables of 200 NL on Bovada. So let's just jump right back into the action. We've got a hand developing in a couple spots here. With this ace-10 hand here that you're seeing, basically I called versus the button. He had raised the button and I had called, and the flop came ace-jack 8. I think calling pre is right what I want to do with a very shallow read, and I don't think this guy's a fish, and I've yet to see how he will react to a 3-bet, so I think calling is fine. Obviously, this is a good flop for us, so I checked this flop intending to call, but he checked it back. The turn is a 6 of diamonds, so now it's time to just start value betting our hand. So there's 12.35 in this pot, and we're going to value bet into here. I do think when he checks back this flop, it's very likely that he will call at least on the turn and often even on the river. When he has hands that have no showdown value, he would tend to bet this flop. So I do think my turn bet is going to get called. So I bet 3/4 pot here for value. And I do think I tend to have the best hand, although it's not impossible that I'm beat. He could potentially check back a hand like ace-queen. Although it's not recommended, it is possible. So I generally think I have the best hand here, and I do think he's going to call. With the queen's hand on table 2, I raised pre, and we got called by seat 5. If you remember from my last video, we had some other hands versus seat 5. This guy is playing very fishy. So far, he's playing 50% of his hands over a sample of 30, and he's got like a 60 big blind stack. So he's falling right into those categories, those characteristics of someone that we want to play a lot of pots against. We want to just constantly get into pots versus this guy because he's going to make mistakes. Now, we've hit a really dry board, king-high board, giving us second pair. I do think this is that this player is turning into the potential to be a loose, aggressive fish here. So I want to check here. I think if I start betting here, I'm probably going to bet twice and then check the river. I think that there's probably a little bit more value than that in checking. Since if I was only gonna bet it twice myself, I think out of position here I can check with the intent of calling all the way down. If he has a king, I'm gonna write it off as a cooler. But I think that his ranges are so wide that most of the time he's not gonna have a king, and I'm gonna do pretty well against his bluffing ranges. I don't mind giving a free card here because the board is so dry. So if it does go check, I'm just going to value bet the turn in the river and get hopefully the same 2 streets of value I would have got if I had just bet the flop. So that's our plan here. Let's see what happens with these 2 hands. So like I thought might happen with the ace-10, I bet 9 and he calls pretty quickly. The river's a 5 of diamonds. And I'm just going to continue to value bet the river. I think I have the best hand. I don't think it's possible for him to bluff raise me. So yes, it is possible I could bet this river and get called by better, but not very likely. But I can bet it very confidently, I should say, because he's going to call a lot with worse, and he's not going to bluff me. So it's a great spot to be in on this river with ace-10. I think I bet, though, and he folds. With the queens, I do check, and I do get a bet, 10.50 into 14. I'm going to stick to my plan and call. My plan is to call down, barring a terrible run-out, maybe an ace. There's really not that many bad run-outs. So just going to stick to that. As you can see with ace-10, I bet 21, and he does kind of tank fold. Now the turn is a 10 of clubs with the queens. Just going to stick to my plan. checking to call. He bets 24.50 into 34.20. I'm just going to stick to my plan here. If he has a king, it's a cooler, so I'm not going to fold. Really no intent on folding here.